Welcome back to the Graduate School's videos on the formatting and preparation of theses, dissertations, and synthesis projects. In this video, we're going to be discussing very briefly how to achieve the appropriate line and paragraph spacing in your documents. We have a sample dissertation here from the English department, which will serve our purposes just as far as getting the lines correct, the margins set, and your paragraph spacing correct, because these can be a little bit tricky. The first thing you want to remember about the graduate school guidelines is that they specify that all text, unless it's particular to a creative writing project or some other exception based on your discipline, should be double spaced. And so to do that, this is fairly simple. You come here. I'm working on a Mac here, but the basics are essentially the same, and you'll choose 2.0 spacing for all of your text. Now, one of the tricky parts about our graduate school guidelines is that the margins are to be set for binding purposes, which means that on the top, right, and bottom margin, you should have 1 inch of space, and then on the left margin, you should have 1¼ inch of space. So just to show you how to set that up, we will select this paragraph. We're just going to be working with this paragraph today just to show you the basics of what we're talking about. You're going to go to Layout, and you're going to select Margins here. And what you want to choose is the mirrored margin. You can see it has a little icon here that shows you how it'll work when bound. So we'll choose that, and it'll set the margins to the appropriate space. Now, the next thing that you want to choose is the paragraph spacing. And what you don't want to happen is you don't want there to be, let me find an appropriate paragraph. You don't want there to be an extra space between your paragraphs like this. Sometimes Word's default setting is to add a space between paragraphs, and there are several ways to remedy this issue. The first is on just by setting making your settings correct from the beginning. And so you can see here I have the spacing before and after a paragraph set to 0. You can also achieve this by coming over here to the home ribbon and selecting the paragraph spacing option, go to line spacing option, and again choose 0 spacing points between paragraph breaks. You can also choose this button right here, which will force it to remove space between paragraphs of the same style. On a PC, like I said before, I'm on a Mac here, but on a PC, when you choose this drop-down menu, you'll see an option at the bottom of this list to add or remove space before and after paragraphs, and you can choose the appropriate setting from there if you are on a PC. That takes care of the line spacing options that we wanted to go through. It's very simple, but something that's very essential to get correct, and we do see a lot of problems with that in our editing process. So make sure you're double checking all of your paragraph breaks and all of your margins throughout the entirety of your document, particularly if you're using different sections. Sometimes we find that one section will have the correct margin settings, but another one will be incorrect.